Hi, this is Mark. Welcome to the Red Planet Project channel. If you're interested in the future of Mars, you're in the right place. On this channel, we talk about terraforming, technology, and the bold visions tied to the Red Planet. In previous episodes, we talked about the atmosphere, the biosphere, and the first steps toward colonizing Mars. Today, we're going to step back a little. Because before humans ever set foot there, Mars was already thoroughly explored by something else. By machines. NASA. They've built the longest and most detailed history of exploring this planet. From the first images to soil samples to flying drones. The first attempts to explore Mars began back in the 1960s. The American Mariner program sent the first pictures of the Martian surface from orbit. That was the first time we really saw what Mars looked like. Not as a myth, but as a real place we could someday visit. Everything picked up speed in 1976. That's when Viking 1 and Viking 2 landed on Mars. They were the first landers to send data from the surface. They studied the atmosphere, took pictures, and conducted early experiments in the search for life. That was the beginning of a new era. Then came the rovers. First was Sojourner in 1997, the first mobile vehicle ever to move across another planet. Then Spirit and Opportunity. They were supposed to last 90 days, but they worked for years. Opportunity lasted 15 years, right up until that famous message, "My battery is low and it's getting dark." In 2012, Curiosity arrived. It landed using a special sky crane system that gently lowered it to the Martian surface. It's still exploring the landscape to this day. Then, in 2021, came Perseverance, the most advanced rover in history. It's searching for signs of ancient life and preparing samples that may one day return to Earth. Alongside it came a small drone, Ingenuity, the first object ever to fly in the skies of another planet. NASA has tested landing systems, communications, water detection, and soil analysis. They've gathered data, built maps, made mistakes, and learned from them. It's experience no other space agency can match. It's also worth mentioning that many of these missions were carried out in cooperation with other countries and agencies, especially the European Space Agency. Exploring Mars isn't just a race, it's also a shared human project. Thanks to all these missions, we know that sending humans to Mars is no longer a dream. It's just the next step. And today, we're closer than ever before. NASA has been planning to send humans to Mars for decades, but only now are we truly getting close. It all starts with the Artemis program, which aims to return humans to the Moon. But the Moon isn't the final destination. It's just a pit stop, a test. A training ground for the great journey ahead. Artemis will not only build a space station around the Moon, it will also test new technologies that will later be used for Mars missions. NASA's goal is first to develop systems that allow humans to survive off Earth for extended periods. Life support systems, landing systems, radiation shielding, and in-situ resource utilization. All of it has to work flawlessly before astronauts can embark on a 6-month journey to Mars. But NASA isn't doing it alone. It's drawing on the experience of many private companies and working with ESA and other space agencies. A powerful supply chain is taking shape, one that could support a future mission to the Red Planet. According to the most current plans, NASA is targeting the 2030s. The year 2035 is often mentioned, maybe a bit later. But that's no longer distant future. That's 10 years from now. The mission will be massive. The crew will launch on a huge rocket, live in a specially designed module for deep space travel, and then land on Mars in a pre-delivered lander. It might not be a single launch. There could be cargo drops ahead of time, orbital stations, or supply caches waiting on the surface before the crew even arrives. The entire system will have to function like clockwork. No delays, no mistakes, no backup. The astronauts will be completely on their own. But this is the scenario NASA now considers the most realistic. They have the most experience. Their rovers have been studying Mars for decades, and they want to be the ones who take that first step. Not just as a symbol, but as the beginning of a new era. Even though NASA has the most experience exploring Mars, it's no longer the only player. In recent years, private space companies have entered the stage, and one name comes up more than any other: SpaceX. Elon Musk's company doesn't just want to go to Mars, it wants to stay there. Musk talks about building a self-sustaining city on the Red Planet, a city that could operate without support from Earth. It's a massive, ambitious, and risky vision, but SpaceX is moving fast. They're testing Starship, the biggest and most powerful spacecraft ever built. Its purpose isn't just to carry cargo, it's designed to carry people, in large numbers, hundreds at a time. SpaceX is running tests on Earth, improving engines, structures, and landing systems. And even though there's still a long way to go, Musk says clearly, the first mission to Mars could happen in the late 2020s, maybe in 2029. That's an incredibly bold prediction. But even if it's delayed, the impact of this project on the space industry is already huge. Blue Origin, Jeff Bezos's company, is also expanding. While it's more focused on Earth orbit and the Moon, it too envisions exploring deeper space. Their philosophy centers around building infrastructure in space that could eventually support missions to Mars. Smaller companies are emerging too, like Relativity Space, Rocket Lab, and Astrobotic. They're developing new technologies and supporting the larger players. Some are focused on landers, others on autonomy, propulsion, or navigation systems. Their shared goal is clear: to make human missions to another planet possible. What was once the domain of government agencies has become a race led by private visionaries. And even though none of them has reached Mars yet, the influence of their efforts is already accelerating history. Today, NASA and SpaceX aren't just competitors. More and more, they're partners. And if humans do reach Mars, there's a very good chance it will be a joint mission. A public-private effort, built on NASA's experience and SpaceX's innovation. The Great Race to Mars is no longer just about America. More countries and space agencies are joining in, wanting to make their mark on the Red Planet. One of the most important players today is the China National Space Administration. In 2021, China sent its first orbiter, lander and rover to Mars, all in a single mission. Tianwen-1. The mission was a success. The Zhurong rover moved across the Martian surface, collected data, and sent back images. With that, China became the second country in history to land on Mars and deploy a working vehicle. But that's only the beginning. According to official plans, China wants to send humans to Mars as early as the 2030s. They're working on landing systems, radiation shielding, and nuclear propulsion. They want to be independent and self-sufficient. At the same time, the European Space Agency is developing the ExoMars program. Its goal is to study Martian soil and search for signs of ancient life. Although the Schiaparelli lander crashed, the TGO orbiter is still working today. The next rover, Rosalind Franklin, was supposed to launch with Russia, but after the outbreak of the war in Ukraine, the project was suspended. ESA is now looking for a new partner to finish the mission. Europe doesn't yet have ambitions to send humans to Mars, but it's participating in programs that may lead to crewed missions. They cooperate with NASA, provide technologies, and train astronauts. India has also become a key player. Their first Mars mission, Mangalyaan, was one of the cheapest in history and a great success. India proved that even with a limited budget, great things are possible. Now they're planning a second mission and aiming to be part of larger international projects. A surprising participant in the Martian race is the United Arab Emirates. In 2020, they launched the HOPE probe, which is studying the Martian atmosphere. It's a symbolic step into space exploration, but it shows that Mars is no longer the goal of just a few superpowers. Today, it's a global objective. Ambition, technology, and politics are blending into a new game. And although we still don't know who will be the first to set foot on Mars, one thing is clear. It's no longer just an American dream, it's a goal for all humanity. These days, people are asking more and more often, who will be the first to walk on Mars? But that question doesn't have a simple answer. On one hand, we have NASA, the agency with the most experience, hundreds of successful missions, and advanced infrastructure. On the other, there's SpaceX, a private company that moves fast, takes bold risks, and dreams big. And then there's China, which has already proven it can act independently and effectively. In the background are Europe, India, and other nations who may join future missions. The possibilities are wide open. Maybe it will be an American astronaut in a NASA spacesuit. Maybe it will be someone aboard a Starship rocket arriving on Mars with a private mission. Or maybe it will be someone completely unexpected. The first human on Mars will be a symbol, but not just a symbol of progress. They'll also represent a philosophy. Are we going there as humanity, united in peace? Or as individual nations trying to plant their flags? That question is just as important as the technology itself, because Mars is not a blank canvas. It's a planet with history, with potential, and with a future. Whoever gets there first will shape the direction we take next. Will we build a research station, a colony, or just leave our footprints and come back home? No one knows yet. But one thing is certain, it will be a moment remembered forever, a moment the whole world will witness. And maybe, just maybe, for the first time, humanity will feel like it truly took a step toward the stars. And now it's your turn. Who do you think will be the first to set foot on Mars? NASA, SpaceX, or maybe another country entirely? Do you think it's even possible to do it this decade? Leave a comment. I'd love to hear what you think. And if this topic fascinates you, don't forget to subscribe to the Red Planet Project channel. In the next episode, we'll explore what everyday life on Mars might look like. What will it mean to live, work, and stay in touch with Earth from another planet? Will Martian settlers feel at home or like they're part of a never-ending experiment? If you want to find out what life on Mars could really be like, don't miss the next video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next episode. Red Planet Project, this is where the future begins.